Can you gain things from like the second quarter on, especially that third quarter? And
Definitely.
what do you think, lessons learned or just things you picked up from that?
Well, I think part of the game plan coming in was to play a lot of people. And we did. I think we played 13, 14 people in the first half. And part of the reasoning is, obviously the fatigue of, the run we've been on with all the travel and the games. But part of it also is we have to figure out what we're going to be able to do in this series without Steph. And so we gave a lot of people a lot of chances. And then, some guys really stepped up. Trayce and JK were both really good in this game. You could see that their athleticism was important. And I thought we made a really spirited run, got it to 7, and then we just kind of lost a little bit of composure. We turned it over right out of that timeout a couple of times and gave up a couple of threes where we lost connection defensively. But we learned a lot, and I think this game will help us figure out, how to move forward.
You mentioned the experimentation. How much, as you head towards Game 3, do you need to then quickly pare it down? And how much of what you saw tonight, particularly from Trayce and Kuminga, makes you believe that they have to be heavy?
I mean, those guys really performed well and showed why they can help us win this series. So they're going to be part of it for sure. We've got to figure out rotations, who we want to start, all that stuff. But both guys are going to play a role.
Steve, what did you learn tonight of how you can play through Jimmy and also the defensive attention that he got as well without Steph on the floor?
I mean, I didn't learn anything that I didn't already know. Jimmy, you can always play through Jimmy. He's a great isolation player, great passer, and it's more about figuring out, who to put around him and who's going to be playing, in Game 3. What our rotation is going to look like, because it's not as simple as Steph's out, so we just replace him with one person. The domino effect of Steph being out led to Trayce playing tonight because we need the scoring, we need the finishing, and you saw what he did out there. Same thing with JK. We had found a formula over the last couple of months, and obviously we're having a lot of success. But without Steph, the formula completely goes out the window, and we've got to figure out the next formula.
Steve, can you talk about Steph's presence on the bench? And at one point when Draymond was getting heated, he went over and kind of calmed him down, and he seemed like he was talking a lot. You had said he was going to be like a coaching presence.
Yeah.
Was he?
He was great. I mean, he sat a couple seats down. We talked a couple times during the game, and he was talking to all the players. And yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what he was saying to the guys, but it's very very comforting having him on that bench for our guys.
Following up on that Draymond moment, why would you describe sort of what you saw happen, and it looked like you took him out because you could see he was getting heated?
Yeah, I could see, he had gotten pretty upset, and I just didn't want him to get another technical, so I took him out at that point, and I know he's going to have to be careful now. He's, is he 2 techs away?
5 techs and 2 flagrants, and
So
it's 7
one-
and 4.
So
Two
two more
tech-
techs, he'll be suspended.
Or 2 more flagrants, right?
Yeah, so he's going to have to stay composed. Obviously, we need him, and I'm confident that he will because he knows the circumstances.
Were you frustrated or disappointed given how poised he's been the last couple games? How much he seemed to lose it a little bit tonight?
It's part of Draymond, the same thing that makes him such a competitor and a winner, puts him over the top sometimes, and we know that, and it's our job to try to help him stay poised, stay composed. But the competition is so meaningful to him that occasionally he goes over the line.
Steve, aside from Jonathan Kuminga's shot making, what did you think about his decision making and his defensive effort tonight?
Did a great job. I thought JK. I was very proud of just the way he's stayed ready, stayed positive. This has not been an easy stretch for him, and he really came out there and did a great job today, and kind of showed what he's made of. So he'll obviously be back out there game 3, and we're going to need him.
And Moses Moody's really struggled with his shot the last few games. Is that just a cold streak, or is it maybe the way defenses are playing? And what have you seen?
This is the playoffs. I've seen this my entire career. Stuff happens. Some players, they, like in Moses' case, the way Buddy has played the last couple of games has limited Moses' minutes. So he only played, I think, the last 2 games 9 and 11 minutes. And, things start going badly for you, and all of a sudden you end up with the ball with 2 seconds on the shot clock 5 times in 2 games. I feel terrible for Moses because I think he's had literally 4 or 5 of those where he's had to just throw it up there. So he's not in a rhythm right now. We just have to stay with it. He's got to stay with it, and I'm very confident because I've watched Moses for 4 years. I know his character. I know his work ethic. I know his skill. He'll find his way back.
What are the ways that Trayce's athleticism and rim running, really did shine tonight and can be a factor in this series going forward?
Just his finishing, the pick and roll stuff. They're an athletic team. They're a big team. So to have a rim presence and threat is important, and he showed that tonight.
It seemed like finishing around the rim has been a little bit of an up and down for him throughout the season. Where have you seen that maybe growth in the last month or so for him then?
He's hardly played, frankly, the last month. But this is what makes the playoffs so strange. And it's the same way every year. Matchups dictate so much. Injuries dictate so much. Both Trayce and JK have kind of been out of the loop, the last month or so. But all of a sudden, with Steph's injury, with the opponent that we're playing against, they're back in the forefront. So both of them, we provide the athleticism and the finishing that we're going to need against this team.
One more Draymond question. It seemed like the play that sparked that was when Reed fouled him and he kind of, reached up, obviously. That looked similar to some other plays, the one in Houston. Is that, he's up, Travis trying to sell the foul, or do you have to?
It's just a habit he has, when somebody fouls him, and he's smart. So I think it was Reed reached, and on the reach, Draymond kind of swiped through and drew the foul. Right. But he does have a habit of sort of flailing his arm to try to make sure the ref sees it, and he made contact, and that's what led to the tech.
I guess just all things considered, with where you guys are at, obviously Steph's injury, but going back 1-1, just how do you feel going back to San Francisco?
Well, it's a hell of a trip, to come in here and split the first 2, coming off of a 7-game series, winning Game 7 on the road, and then starting this series 48 hours later. We couldn't ask for much more. This was very predictable how Minnesota would come out tonight, and sure enough, it was like 13-0 before we could blink. They came out with incredible defensive intensity. We knew they were coming after us. This is how it works. You have to, try to withstand the rush, which we did. Cut it to 7 in the second half, had our chances, but it wasn't meant to be. Minnesota played a great game. It's their game tonight, so we have to respond.
What are the challenges in this series for Podziemski, and what more do you need from him?
Yeah, the challenges are, with Steph out, he's playing more in the ball handling role that, he was in early in the season. And we've talked about it. He's at his best when he can kind of play off the second side, play as a secondary ball handler. We can still, do some things to allow that to happen. Draymond can handle the ball more. Jimmy can handle the ball more. And we can put Brandon in positions to be more impactful offensively. But I still think, even without scoring a ton, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, a couple of steals, this guy can play. And every game's different. And we've got to find some better ways to score 93 points tonight. So we've got to find a little more offensive rhythm.
You were subbing Jimmy in and out a lot, and
Yeah.
you played 34 minutes. I know he could have played more if it was closer, but did you kind of have, I'm not going to push this with Butler in this game?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I didn't want to push it with Draymond or Jimmy. I didn't want to chase this game unless it was really gettable. And we obviously made a push in the second half, but first half we went in going, we went into the game thinking we're playing a lot of people, short burst minutes, and try to protect Jimmy and Draymond. They've been playing huge minutes every other day, flying all over the country. So we had to weigh that. Thanks.
Thank you. Plan is Draymond, Jimmy.
Oh, you miss me.
So obviously, you get minutes. You go 8 for 8 to start. Did you feel like you were back into some sort of rhythm? Did you feel like you were really into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think once I came out for the first couple minutes and I went back and I feel like, the confidence just came back, especially knowing us the way we started wasn't that great, Pretty much everybody else had to step up and just went out there and just try to compete. And I think everything just fell in line.
Can you describe that baseline drive dunk over Gobert?
I think I don't know. A lot of people didn't see it, but Draymond hit me, and I was trying to find Jimmy, and Jimmy was like, "Go," because once he saw Gobert, he was just like, "Go, go," and I was like, "Wow, this is the moment. Might as well just make something good happen." And I think just having Draymond and Jimmy telling me to go, that's a big trust, and they just had to make something happen.
How much easier is it for you to get in that type of offensive rhythm with more minutes?
I think everything just come back, together. As long as you stay out there and you know who you playing with, just having that rhythm, breaking the sweat, and just staying locked in, the rhythm kind of come back, slowly.
What has been your process for staying ready over the past month or so?
Working out, watching film, staying strong mentally, just those three, and I think just being a good teammate, that's the biggest things, that keeps me ready.
You said Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green were telling you go at Gobert. Well, how have the veterans helped you stay ready through this process?
No, I don't know, maybe some of them been through this. I feel like some of them been through, the ups and downs. Not just playing, just like, sometimes your things going well or not going well. And just them seeing the matchup I had, and it was a broken play. And just both of them telling me to just go, it just gave me more confidence.
I mean, without Steph, even Steve said it's different. The other formula is different. Did you figure you would have a larger role? Do you have to have a larger role, you think, without Steph?
I think back then I had it here and there, when we didn't have Steph. But, I wasn't focused on that, really. I was just focusing on just coming in there, no matter how many minutes I get to just find a way to impact. And I end up getting, 26 minutes. But I wasn't going out there expecting to have so many minutes. Just anytime my name get called, because I know one of these days my name was going to be called, and just go out there and just impact. Makes the best out of it.
You spent a lot of time guarding Ant defensively. What is that matchup like, and what are the keys to slowing him down?
This is one of our best players in this league. It's just not an easy matchup going out there every single day, but you just got to do the best, and not fouling, just staying physical and, try to slow him down. It's not going to be great every time, but the more effort you put in, the better it is.
You said early in this press conference that your confidence came back. How important is that for a basketball player?
It's very important. As long as your confidence is there, it puts something, it makes you happy, it put a joy, because as long as you have joy, you could do a lot of things. And I think confidence is one of those things where once you got them, it don't matter even if the ball is going through the nets, you could still do other things besides scoring. You could still go out there and impact.
Jonathan, both you and Trace gave a spark today, and you guys have been out of the rotation at times. Have you guys talked to each other this whole time of just staying ready? And what was it like, both of you on the court, kind of doing what you guys did? At one point, you guys couldn't miss.
I think off the court, we're just goofy around. That's all. I think it's things that people don't see, but me and Trayce have a really good friendship. That off the court, we just stay talking trash every other time, to keep us involved, because you can't be mad, because at any time they could call your name and you're mad and you go out there and mess everything up for good. But we just stay talking, keeping each other great company, cheering for each other every other moment, and I'm glad he got this moment. I'm glad I got the moment to go out there and play, no matter we didn't win, but hopefully next game we go out there and help our team win.
Is there kind of an element, as you guys are getting more minutes, you guys could just play free a little bit?
I wouldn't say playing free. Just trying to do something out there, trying to impact, somehow. You got something for me, son? That's it?
That's it.
All right, guys, thank you.
Time, Jonathan gets some time, you guys fight your way back into it. Do you think there are things to be gained from doing that?
Absolutely. We got to make it as tough as possible on them. You can't just throw in a towel, throw in the game, making sure that they keep playing, their guys keep playing. But overall, obviously with step out, we're trying to find different lineups and matchups that work. And I thought we did a good job with that.
You've played, a lot of games against Minnesota, against Gobert. What do you like about this matchup, and how does it favor your game?
Honestly, just playing physical, going out there. Really the first, maybe like the second time I got to play with Jimmy. And I feel like we have a good synergy in the ball screen, getting him downhill, especially when Gobert is guarding. And so that's just something that we're going to have to continue to do. But overall with Minnesota, I like playing physical with Gobert and Randall, and yeah. So
Something JK said was, to stay ready, he likes to goof off with you behind the scenes.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, me and JK, obviously the rotation swung away from us, and so we're always on the sideline, just joking, talking. But overall, he played really well tonight, and we're going to need him for the rest of the series.
Trayce, could you talk about Steph's role and demeanor on the sideline? Was he doing a little coaching, a little, just observing of what was going on out there?
Yeah, Steph is Steph. He's the best teammate ever, but overall, he's always talking, coaching, bringing energy, bringing life to the group, and that's something we need, especially from him, because you see him engaged and locked in on the sidelines, even though he can't play. It just shows how much it means to him.
Trayce, did you have an idea that you guys might go 14 deep in the first half like that?
Yeah, actually, we did. He said our group, which was with the group in Houston, we call ourselves a green machine, and so because we wore green pennies the first time, like in our scout, and so he was like, "Green machine, be ready. This might be a game you guys get in. It could be 2 minutes in at the top of the second." So we got in and just trying to cause havoc.
Even when your minutes might be up and down, how have you maybe improved as a finisher around the rim? Because you're really strong there tonight.
Yeah, obviously this year I struggled. Probably credit to Chris Paul and Klay Thompson last year. I shot 70%, and so didn't do that well this year. Obviously, just confidence and just got to keep working on it. But over the time I've been away from the rotation, I've been able to practice and get in the gym, work on that stuff, and just continue to get better, continue to build my confidence.
Is that with AV or?
It's with all of them, honestly. Seth Cooper, AV, Noel Hightower, Will, Sheehy. Those are really my players, coaches. Will's been working on the free throws with me, and so just got to continue to just get repetitions and keep building confidence.
You mentioned this is maybe your first or second time really playing with Jimmy. He's not like a traditional pick and roll partner. What is it like being in the pick and roll with him?
It's great. He does all the work, and then if two go to him, he throws a lob, and that's what he told me. He said, "It might look like I'm going to go to the rim. Just be ready, because you never know if I'm going to throw it up." Kind of the same with Draymond. He'll just kind of get it a little step, and he'll see it, and he'll just throw it. And so, it's great for me, and they make my job easy.
What do you feel like you can take from today into Game 3?
Just the physicality, just going in there. Defensively, I got to be better. I let guys get past me too easy, but other than that, just continue to bring energy for the team.
What can the big pick and roll do for the offense? I think you ran one with Draymond, got a lob.
Yeah, especially if we get under the screen and stuff of that nature, we just got to continue to see what happens. Draymond's always looking for the right read. Even if I don't get the ball, someone helps. He'll kick it to the corner. He's always trying to make the right play.
Jimmy is ready.
Thank you.
Sir, appreciate that.
What are some lessons you can learn from a game like this where it's kind of experimental? Steve's trying a bunch of different combinations out there.
Experimental or not, I still would like to win. But I think the biggest lesson is don't start off in the hole like we did tonight. In a game, maybe could have ended up a little bit differently, but it's hard to climb out of that hole.
What did you see from JK and Trayce tonight in their minutes?
Some talented pros. Pros always being ready, doing whatever you ask them to do, and doing it at a high level on both sides of the ball.
I think he said on that Kuminga on that baseline drive dunk on Gobert, you told him go, just go.
Attack.
What were you seeing, with Gobert on him?
Attack. We need as many individuals attacking as we can. If you get in there and nobody helps, score. If you get in there and somebody helps, pass the ball to the open guy. And a lot of the times whenever you get into the paint, it's wide open to go in there and get a bucket.
Obviously, I mean, Kerr said it, it's obvious it's so different without Steph. You have to kind of figure out a new formula. What is it, you think? What could it be without Steph?
It's going to be a lot more attacking and hitting the open guy and attacking again. It's everybody knows it's difficult to recreate or even get close to doing what he does. But we're going to have to find a way. So we go to the tapes, talk about it, and execute it to the best of our abilities.
Steve said part of the plan tonight was not overtaxing you or Draymond. I think you finished at around 34 minutes. As this series shifts back, but it restarts quickly. How do you feel right now? And do you feel like it wasn't that much of a tax tonight?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I get to rest. We get to take a flight back, sleep in our own beds, get some recovery, dominoes, coffee, kids, doesn't change, and get ready to compete again.
Are you still feeling the fall?
Yeah, for sure. But believe it or not, domino, coffees, and kids make it all better.
Jimmy, you're always kind of assessing and figuring out things. As you were feeling out tonight without Steph, were there some things that you might figure out that's going to work to your advantage?
Be aggressive, maybe even a little bit more aggressive than normal. And I'm playing the same way. My guys is open, I'm passing it. I don't care what nobody says. And I'm a live and die with us as a unit, us as a whole.
Aggressive meaning you looking to score more?
No. Aggressive, like get in the paint, make plays for everybody. I feel like whenever I'm doing that, it makes everybody else's job easier. They know when to shoot the ball on catch and shoots. They know when to play out of closeouts. When I'm in attack mode, it automatically places them in attack mode.
Jimmy, when you missed the game against Houston, you were a very active participant on the bench and kind of another coach. Did you see that from Steph? What did you see from Steph?
Yeah, talking the game, what he sees, what we should be doing on both sides of the ball. And even though he's not out there, he still expects us and wants us to win. So as often as he's telling us, hey, this guy needs to be here, and on defense, this is what everybody needs to be doing, we got to listen, because he's seeing it, firsthand, a lot of stuff that everybody else can't see. So he's definitely still out there on the bench with us.
Jimmy, I know you don't pay much attention to what's out there, but just so you can know, everybody's expecting this massive thing, this reputation of playoff Jimmy. What is that like living under that burden or expectation?
I don't have a burden or expectation. I don't. I play basketball the right way. I will continue to play basketball the right way. If that time comes where, you're people that are saying whatever, supposed to score 40 or 43, whatever the case may be, I'm capable of it. I can do it. But I love making sure that my guys are comfortable, passing the ball to them, taking the right shots at the right time. But we'll talk about it. If that may be needed, who knows?
Jimmy, what did you see on the play where Draymond got the technical, and you obviously heard what he said in the locker room? He's at 5 technicals now. 7 is a suspension. Is that something you're concerned about?
No, I think he knows. We all know. I thought he got fouled, and maybe he's trying to sell the call. Somebody got hit, but it's crazy. Every time he does something, it's always a review, and it always ends up being something of that nature. But like you said, he got 5. He knows he got 5, so he knows how much we need him now more than ever. So I don't think he gets a 7.
He very clearly thinks his reputation, is costing him.
For sure.
What do you think about that?
I mean, I'm in agreement. It ain't like he's doing it on purpose. He's trying to sell a call or something like that, and somebody just get hit.
Jimmy, you mentioned you might have to be more assertive. It did seem like some of your best offense tonight was you kind of as the creator, the playmaker. Could you sense that? And maybe that has to be a little bit more of a path forward with you taking more initiative to set up others?
Yeah, for sure. Get the ball, attack. But like I said, it's not always about scoring. Whenever I attack and create help and get the ball to the right people, they know what to do with the ball. I think that's most important. Somebody closing out, you get the shooter, you get to drive that closeout. If I'm not getting into the paint, I think it confuses my guys more than anything.
We've all seen the stats with you and JK. The minutes weren't real good, but you mentioned attacking. What would it be work with 2 attackers? You mentioned Kuminga can do that. How might that benefit this team?
I mean, he's a great basketball player. I can play with anybody. He can play with anybody. It's all about playing basketball the right way. That's all it is. Attack to score, attack to pass. You just make the right play over and over and over again every single time, no matter who you're out there with. Just play basketball the right way. And me and JK could thrive, can and will thrive together on the basketball floor.
Jimmy, one more Draymond question. He's obviously been so good the last couple of games. And I know he's essential to this team anyway, but how is that magnified with Steph out? I mean, people talk about the offensive burden on you, but Draymond's been playing with Steph forever, obviously.
He'll be all right. We all miss Steph, not just Dre. And Dre's going to continue to do what he does on the offensive side of the ball, shoot the ball when he's open, get the ball where the ball needs to go, set incredible screens. And, of course, he's going to do what he does on the defensive side of the ball, challenge shots at the rim, tell everybody their coverage, let everybody know what's going to go on. Not too much changes. If anything, he's going to step it up a notch. He's being incredibly vocal, more vocal than normal, and he has to be because we don't have our number 1 guy out there. But he knows how important he is. It's not going to change for him either.
Do you feel Steve was pretty honest, and Draymond was too, about how he lost his poise in Game 6, and obviously came back and kept it the last 2 games? And given what happened tonight, do you feel any need as a fellow veteran to remind him or reinforce what needs to be done?
He's a grown man. He knows how important he is to this squad, how important every game is, and how important it is that he needs to be out there. So you don't need to tell him nothing. He's very capable, and he's very observant of that. He knows.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jimmy.